Clause 7 and Clause 24 of the bill proposes a turnover tax. So, Clause 7 changes the threshold, and Clause 24 changes the rate. And the rate of the turnover tax is now going up to 3%, and the threshold is coming down to 500,000. Basically, what it means, if you have a tiny micro business, let us say you are selling tea and mandazi and bananas somewhere on Gong Road or Kangundo Road, as soon as you sell 1,370 shillings, then you are liable to a 3% tax, 3% of that amount. If you think about, let's say, people who offer taxi rides using the hailing application, whichever is your favorite one, an average ride in town could be about 500 shillings. As soon as the rider has, the driver has done 3 rides, which is 1,500, then he's going to have to pay tax 3%. And obviously, the majority of small businesses in Kenya are small businesses, and the data suggests that many fail. We start many small businesses and they fail. They fail because they are not making money. So obviously, when you tax turnover, remember, turnover is not profit. So you will pay this tax whether you are making a profit or not. And I think this is why many people are a bit upset with it. The other reason why Kenyans debating or upset with this bill is the proposal to tax employee share ownership programs. So if you have a small business and you find you don't have good cash flow, so you decide to offer the employees some shares so that they are committed to the business, then those shares are going to be taxed. Yes. As though they were income. Never mind, if they sold them, they would pay income tax.
Is it a new item in this bill, or it's been there before?
No, taxation of ESOPs has not been there before. It is now being introduced.
It's being introduced for the first time.
For the first time. The other one that public officers are a bit upset about is a proposal to tax per diem. Per diem is the money you get when you're going to work out of station. Now, it's not really an income. It cannot even be seen as a benefit to you, the employee. If you get housing allowance, it's considered a benefit. But per diem cannot be a benefit because let's say you have to go to Migori to do some work, or you have to go to Voi and you are based in Nairobi. Obviously, when you get there,
facilitated.
You have to eat, you'll have to find accommodation and so on. That is what per diem is for. So it's not an income. But now, if this bill passes, per diem for public servants is going to be taxed as though it is a benefit of employment, as though it is part of your salary, and therefore it will be taxed at 30%.
So is it specifically for public servants?
It is specifically for public servants in the way the bill is framed, which of course disadvantages them in comparison to private sector employees. But I also would expect it's going to demoralize them quite a bit because, as I said, per diem is not income.
So before you proceed, on the digital content creators, 15% withholding tax. There is that content creator who actually well, in my own opinion, might not understand this withholding tax. What does it mean precisely?
Remember that and you will find this at clause 2 of this bill. Withholding tax, the person paying for the professional service is the one that withholds. That's why it is called withholding. So now what's going to happen? Let's say you have given you some work to build for me a website or to generate some content for me for my website. And you have charged me 10,000 shillings. I will withhold 15% of that. Okay? So
15% of 10,000.
Of 10,000. So 1,500. Sita kulipa, I will withhold it. So if you are charging me 10,000, I will pay you 8,500. Then I'll take 1,500 and give to the taxman. That's what it means.
That's what it means.
That's why it is called withholding tax.
Okay.
Indeed. Yeah. So another area around the area of digital content that people are upset about, the bill proposes to tax digital assets like bitcoins and non-fungible assets. Basically, what they're proposing is that when you sell, people buy and sell Bitcoin. When you sell your Bitcoin, again, we tax 3%, like the turnover. And we are also taxing the sales. So it doesn't matter whether you make a loss or not, which means we'll be taxing losses. Let's say you bought the Bitcoin for 1,000 shillings. Okay, it's a lot more, but for illustration purpose.
Sure.
And you now sell it for 800. We'll still tax that 800, although you have actually made a loss of 200 bob.
Is it one way of the government discouraging cryptocurrency in the market? What exactly is it?
I may not be able to answer you why the proposal has been framed that way. I believe, and I know for fact it is wrong. You should tax income. As a matter of fact, remember, the act is called income tax. It's not called revenue tax. The reason it is called income tax is that it is supposed to tax personal income of the individual or business income. It's not supposed to tax you when you haven't when you haven't made a profit.
Sure.
Yeah. So again, it is young people who are involved in this area. It is punitive. It is taxing losses. It is not a good tax measure.